John Frieden is a professor of economics at Brown University, and he is joining us now to talk us through the numbers. So, John, we see the market is up slightly off the news of the weekly jobs numbers, but what do you make of the numbers? They're slightly down from the previous weeks, but still we're talking about a significant number of Americans who are now out of a job, and that will, I'm guessing, severely impact the way the next couple of quarters look.
Well, that's right. I mean, I think that we know that the economy is suffering tremendously. Another 3.2 million today. That makes it 33 million or something in the last 2 months. This is the largest economic shock that we faced in a long, long time.
You and some colleagues have launched the Opportunity Insights Economic Tracker that's supposed to be better than official economic stats issued by the government. Tell me about this, and why do you say it's better?
So the jobs numbers that we're going to get tomorrow, the number that everybody's looking forward to, that was actually measured about 3 weeks ago. And so it's going to be a great measure of how things were looking at the beginning of April. But the economy is evolving incredibly fast right now. And if there's one thing we've learned in this crisis, it's that we need to be making decisions based on the most up-to-date information. We can't afford to be falling behind the curve on economic policy the way we did on health policy. And so what this tracker does is it pulls together information so that you can see how the economy is evolving almost in real time, looking at series like consumer spending or how many small businesses are open, what small business revenues are, what job postings are. And you can see not what was going on at the beginning of April, but how things are looking just this past week.
So, Professor, let me ask you about the direction this country and, in fact, the world economy is heading in. I think a lot of people, when they think about the economy, they almost think of it in terms of on or off, or doing well or not doing well, right? But for example, you hear the president of the United States and he says, you know, look, we're starting to contain the coronavirus pandemic, so our economy is going to come roaring back. But the economy isn't a light switch that, you know, you flick on and you flick off. There are so many factors that go into play when we consider all of the statistics and the data that goes into defining what our economy is. So what are you seeing as far as indicators that can give us an inkling into what direction we'll be heading in, let's say, in the fourth quarter, by the fourth quarter?
So what we're seeing, especially in the last few weeks, is that, first of all, the stimulus payments do seem to be making a large difference. So just to give you an example, the week when the jobs numbers that are coming out tomorrow were measured, that week consumer spending was down more than 30% in the U.S. Since the pre-crisis levels. And then in the last 3 weeks, as those stimulus payments have gone out, it's jumped back up by about 10%, so that now I say only down 20%, right? That's obviously an incredible fall, but at least it's better than where we were. And in some states, you're actually seeing those stimulus payments have even more of an effect. So like West Virginia is a good example. Consumer spending there just a few days ago was only down 7% relative to the pre-crisis level. But in other places, like in Washington, D.C., the fall is much, much, much larger than it is nationally. And so I think what we're seeing is that, you know, just as with the health risks, the economic crisis is evolving in different ways in different places. Now, if the fact that consumer spending is being supported somewhat by the stimulus payment, I think things, as you just mentioned, are not looking good on the job front. You mentioned the unemployment claims numbers. Something we're looking at that's we can measure in real time are job postings. And those have fallen more than 40% since the beginning of the year. They've obviously fallen incredibly fast in the leisure and hospitality industry, but they've also fallen in lots of other industries as well. And so that's a sign that businesses are not super hopeful about reopening soon. It may take a while before they're able to either open back up again or open up at full service levels.
Interesting stuff. John, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.